Welcome, everyone. I'm John Rose, and I'm here once again with Samsung Ogbu, CTO extraordinaire, and always the smartest man in the room for all things digital. Hey, Samsung, how are you doing?
You're far too kind, John. Thank you for having me today.
Hey, listen, everyone, before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that if you stick with us to the end, we have a free limited time offer that will help you kickstart your AI marketing programs. Also, we will definitely leave time for questions at the end, so feel free to add them in the chat and we'll address them as soon as we can. Also, you'll receive a recording of this session, and don't worry about squinting if you see some slides that where there's some things that might be less readable. If you really need to know what's in them, then please write to us and we'll be happy to share the slide presentation with you. So today's session in our PR for Robot series is for every real estate business from developer to broker that depends on being found, trusted, or recommended, which I guess Samsung means virtually every business, right?
Exactly. The idea is simple. AI is becoming part of the customer journey before your sales team, your website, or ads ever get a chance to speak.
Now, this headline, which is coming up here, is really the whole point of our presentation. AI will meet your customer before you do. If it's not doing it now, it certainly will be in the very, very near future. And that means that the first impression of your brand may no longer happen on your website. It won't happen in your sales center or even on a property portal.
It may happen inside ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, Siri, or even on Maps, whatever assistant buyers happen to use. So the question is no longer, are we visible? It is when AI talks about the market, the developer or broker, are we part of the answer?
Right. And this shift is really about how buyers discover property. AI is now a mainstream part of property search. 80% of consumers now rely on AI generated summaries for at least 40% of their searches.
In property search specifically, buyers describe what they want in natural language, and AI curates results that fit rather than returning a long list of scroll. So we've gone from search results to a concise, cited response specific to the query. So the search that used to send buyers to listings and property portals or search results now often resolves on the results screen. AI answers are replacing clicks. About 68% of searches now end with no click at all to any external source. So think about that for a second. The buyer may still be searching, but they are not necessarily visiting you.
It really should come as no surprise at this point that AI doesn't treat all sources equally. Frankly, AI puts more trust in many of the same sources that humans do. Here we've broken down what AI considers to be the most reliable and trustworthy, uh, and to the least reliable and trustworthy. At the top, you can see very high trust, our top tier media, regulatory filings, and primary data. Next, with high trust includes academic and research institutions, plus highly regarded industry analysis, and also you can see respected consultancies.
Yeah, and on the moderate side, it includes high credibility databases and even some portals for the real estate sector, forums and review platforms. We're seeing a lot of citations coming from forums in particular, and this kind of makes sense because the content is fresh and crowdsourced. So when you have a piece of content that it's has consensus from different crowdsourced inputs, it tends to drive a signal for conversion. Now, low trust includes company websites, expert blogs, social media, and influencer content. Now, this doesn't mean that these sources do not matter. It does, but if your signals aren't coming from higher trust sources, you are less likely to be included in the answers.
So what exactly are the robots doing? When a buyer asks AI whether to buy now, say which developer to trust or where the smart money is moving, AI isn't looking at one source, it's pulling together lots of different signals. It looks at market data, media coverage, listings, reviews, maps, expert quotes, and public information. Then it turns all that into one answer.
So the issue is not just whether your brand is visible somewhere. The issue is whether all those signals are consistent enough for AI to understand and trust your brand. AI is not just finding information, it is interpreting trust. The brands that win are the ones whose signals line up across media, search, listing, and reputation. These are the kind of questions buyers are increasingly asking before they contact a broker, visit a portal, or speak to a developer. We're seeing a shift from short tail, keyword-based queries to more conversational, natural language queries. So it could be things like, should I buy now? Which developers are more reputable? Which areas are safest for investment? Which communities are best for me and my family? What are the risks for me buying off plan?
Right. So some of this comes from obvious search behavior, some from sales conversations, some from the way people now use AI tools. They ask full decision-making questions, not just keywords. The point isn't that these exact phrases are the only searches that matter. The point is that buyers are looking for timing, trust, location, yield, risk, and reputation. And every one of these questions creates an opportunity for PR, SEO, content, and paid advertising to work together around a credible answer. So if AI includes you, you enter the conversation very early. That means trust is being decided before you even contact AI. And shortlists are being formed through inquiry.
You may get fewer leads, but they can be higher quality leads because buyers arrive with more context and more intent. It's almost like AI is the advisor and it already gives them context and validation for your brand. So it tends to drive better quality lead and more conversion. There is also less price sensitivity for included developers because inclusion creates credibility. The thinking is that I'm sure you also experience this from your search behavior on AI tools. If AI is recommending a brand and giving you the pros and cons of the brand, chances are you're more likely to adopt their offering. And the harsh part is excluded brands become invisible completely. You're not even part of the conversation or decision-making process. Here is the current market reality in the UAE today. Large developers like MR or Damak Properties dominate coverage, but often through project announcements. Portals focus on inventory and data, but not decision framing.
Right. And brokers often compete on listings, not on authority. But buyers want interpretation. They want confidence and trust. So the opportunity here is to own the answer, not just the inventory.
Traffic hasn't stopped, but you're becoming harder to choose. Consumers now have so many options, from the typical search to all the AI tools we have out there today. So fewer sources are surfaced and they are overwhelmingly authoritative. Fewer businesses are seen, and those that are seen capture disproportionate demand. The winning strategy is an integrated model that combines PR plus SEO and paid, and they have to work together, not in silos.
Right, exactly, exactly. PR done right creates authority. Credible media coverage builds trust signals. SEO structures that authority and makes it discoverable and usable. It aligns brand entities, converts PR coverage into indexed authority and citations and structures content for search and AI retrieval. Also, paid advertising amplifies and accelerates these signals. It tests narratives and buyer questions quickly and amplifies high-performing messages. So if PR and SEO are not aligned, AI sees an incomplete and disconnected signal and your brand becomes invisible.
What you're looking at is three curves over time. Paid ads rise quickly, but they tend to flatten over time as ad fatigue builds in. SEO and PR start lower, but they keep building. When all of these three are synced, the combined line accelerates and keeps climbing. So you kind of attain a compounding effect. Paid ads get you seen, PR and SEO get you chosen. Data shows that brands that align PR, SEO, and paid ads see far greater brand lift and visibility over time compared to brands that execute in silos. In fact, we have some data source showing up to 4 times increase in visibility and brand lifts over time if you align your strategies across these 3 pillars. And this matters now because AI searches reward early movers. Updating your content, getting properly indexed, and strengthening authority signals through strategic PR position your brand to earn citations, build authority, and also to dominate visibility as demand is slowly recovering in the market.
AI visibility can't be built in half measures. This is where most organizations fail. So PR without structure doesn't get picked up by AI. SEO without PR lacks authority, and social and paid media only amplify noise if the core narrative is wrong. And worse, teams and agencies often operate in silos, doing their own thing. So the problem isn't that companies are doing nothing. The problem is that they're doing lots of things that are disconnected. AI doesn't reward all these separate, disjointed activities. It rewards consistent, credible, connected signals.
Maintaining AI visibility is cheap until you stop. AI favors established authoritative sources. It is driven by PR platforms and data, not just content. It is highly curated, which means more brands are not recommended at all. So the few that do it right tend to dominate visibility across these AI tools. And if visibility drops, AI quickly stops including you in answers.
Right. And AI visibility is very hard to build. That means that most brands today aren't even included. Think of it this way. AI visibility is like a jet at cruising altitude. It takes enormous fuel to get there and far less to stay there. And if you cut the engines during a crisis like we've experienced here, and you don't just pause, you descend. And climbing back up costs more than maintaining that altitude ever did. So the warning here is even in times of crises, it's important to maintain a baseline presence that tells AI you still exist, you're still relevant, and you're still worth recommending. If you go quiet, AI won't wait for you, it replaces you. So there's a collapsing customer journey. Basically, customer discovery has shifted, as you can see from the slide, from search-driven exploration to AI-curated decision-making. In the past, users searched, scanned multiple links, and compared options for themselves. Brands competed for clicks. Just to find what they were looking for could take a consumer an average of between 5 and 8 clicks to find it.
Now, with AI tools, users ask a question and get a synthesized response with short list of recommended solutions, often without ever visiting a search result page. And that's the zero-click discovery era that we're in today. Discovery is no longer just about being indexed. It is about being understood, trusted, and selected by AI systems before a user even considers alternatives. So if AI doesn't mention your brand, you may not even exist in the buyer's consideration set. So that discovery and decision-making process completely excludes your brand if you're not getting cited. And that's why today AI optimization is the new SEO. Building a 360 discoverability pipeline means capturing demand at every stage of discovery, not just keyword ranking. This strategy includes a PR-led integration program, SEO integrated from the start, and coordination across language, regions, and other contexts around the customer discovery journey. This process starts with demand discovery, which involves brand discoverability audit, which is you understanding your baseline. How do you show up? Where and when do you show up? And in what context? It involves analyzing keywords and paid search query data as well.
Right. The PR-led strategy, you create topic clusters around buyer questions like trust, timing, yield, location, risk, and reputation. You optimize entities by making sure AI clearly understands the brand, the projects, the people, the locations, and the relationships connected to the business. You publish authoritative resources by creating useful, credible content AI can retrieve, like guides, reports, FAQs, expert commentary, and market views. You support PR narratives by making sure the website, SEO, social listings, and paid campaigns reinforce the same story PR is telling. And aligning with SEO, test messaging themes and angles buyers respond to, like rental yield, safety, developer reputation, family lifestyle, off-plan risk, etc. Then validate keyword intent by checking whether a search term shows real buying intent or just casual browsing. Identify high conversion queries by finding the search is most likely to produce real inquiries or qualified leads. Demand capture, use paid search for high intent queries to capture buyers searching with serious intent, not just broad interest. And build your SEO ranking for decision stage keywords by creating pages that answer late stage buyer questions. Lastly, you should re-engage people who already showed interest and move them towards the inquiry. So by creating essentially retargeting campaigns. It's important to make clear that all of this that we're talking about today isn't a replacement for existing marketing. It's a new layer your marketing has to account for. So most real estate businesses are already doing plenty of things right. Launches, listings, paid campaigns, broker content, influencers, sales offers, events and announcements. None of that is wrong. Keep doing whatever is working for you. The problem we are facing today is that most of these initiatives are built for human attention or sales leads or short-term visibility. But AI visibility needs something more. It needs credible, structured, connected signals that appear in the places AI can find and understand and trust. So let's talk some specifics. When you're talking about project launch PR, it needs to become market interpretation. Don't just announce a new development or listing. Turn the launch into a point of view. Why this area? Why now? Why this buyer? Why this developer? Your portal listings need to become structured listing data. Make sure the facts are clean and consistent, such as tower name, developer name, community, price, size, handover status, et cetera, et cetera. And these have to be worded precisely the same way everywhere that they appear. That's the really important part. Paid lead generation needs to become intent testing tied to PR themes. That means that the search terms buyers click on, like buy Dubai property now or wait, or best developers in Dubai, or Dubai marina yield. These all should be built to feed PR, SEO, and content and broker talking points. Also, broker social posts need to become expert commentary. So you have to expand upon simple call to action messages like hot deal, WhatsApp us, to useful guidance based on buyer questions, area data, and market observations.
Absolutely. And influencer walkthroughs need to become third-party validation. Influencers create attention, but what actually builds trust is media coverage, analyst commentary, verified reviews, and delivery records. This helps build trust, and those signals get translated into citations. Sales offers need to become buyer question content. Turn objections into useful answers. Is payment plan better than a lower price? What should overseas buyers check before buying off plan? Is now a good time to buy or to wait? Events need to become authority building PR narratives. Don't just post photos or videos of events. Capture the questions, the concerns, trends, and expert comments, and turn these into a market story that can earn media placement, which drives authority signals. Developer announcements need to become credibility proof. Attach evidence to every claim, delivery records, occupancy, community performance reviews, media mentions, and third-party recognitions. Channel activity needs to become connected. So your PR, SEO, paid ads needs to be aligned to build a strong reputation signal for your brand. For example, if PR says trusted family community, and your paid ad says investor deal, and listens say luxury bargain, AI sees confusion. So the point is not to stop doing launches or listings or ads. The point is to make these activities work together, align all of these under an overarching strategy. They need to become connected signals that AI can find, understand, trust, and recommend. You might have noticed over the past, I would say 12 to 18 months, Google platform as well as other discovery channels have significantly tweaked their algorithms, the user interface, on how discovery happens. One of the features launched by Google not too long ago is Google Ask Map. It's simply layering Gemini on top of Google Maps. So this transforms maps from just a navigation tool into a local discovery assistant. You might ask, why is this important? For real estate, it's a big shift. A buyer may not search for best Dubai Marina broker or downtown Dubai apartment. They may ask something much more human and conversation like, where should I live if I want short commute, good schools, strong rental yield?
Right. So this means that Ask Maps is designed for those kinds of real world questions. So Google says users can ask Maps questions using text or voice, and then Gemini can combine directions, traffic, nearby places, and other Maps context into one answer. That means the buyer journey can start inside a map, not just in a search results page. The implication is pretty simple. Real estate brands need clean local data, strong reviews, credible content, consistent listings, and third-party validation. Because if Maps becomes the buyer's advisor, your brand has to be highly legible there as well. Now, Google, of course, still dominates the search landscape with roughly 90% of global search share. But 68% of Google searches now end with zero click, meaning no click at all. AI overviews are turning search results into answers right there on the page. So every time an AI summary appears, clicks to your website drop sharply.
And today, ChatGPT has reached over 80 million active, 800 million plus active users. And that's just ChatGPT. You have other platforms like personally, I prefer to use Claude. And in this region, buyers are not only searching in English, there's also the language context. People are searching in Arabic, in Russian, in Urdu, in other languages as well. And this kind of shapes the kind of tools they use. For example, a lot of Russian speakers might use platforms like Yandex or Alice AI. So real estate brands need to be visible in the sources AI trust before buyers ever reach your website. Now, AI is coming to devices buyers already use every day. So Apple today has over 2.5 billion plus active devices and more than 1 billion active iPhones.
Right. The new Siri, for those of you who heard about it, and I guess it officially launches in September, is now evolving from fielding voice commands to becoming a robust personal AI assistant that combines AI power with the personal information and history that lives on your device. So search becomes, at least if you have an iPhone or an Apple device, less about typing keywords and phrases and more about asking, what should I do next? So for real estate, discovery is going to get a lot more personal, a lot more conversational, a lot more action oriented, which makes trusted brand signals more important and frankly, a lot harder to fake. Even more disruptive, platforms no longer wait for buyers to type the perfect search. AI learns from your behavior and it learns from your behavior, it learns from your location, it learns from your budget, your interests, your past questions, it learns from everything that you do. It can infer what the buyer may want before they even ask the question clearly.
It may even suggest the next question. For example, do you want strong rental yield? Are you comparing Dubai versus Abu Dhabi? Do you prefer ready property or off-plan properties? So you're not just competing for keywords, you are competing to be understood, trusted, and recommended by AI.
Bad actors have always tried to manipulate search That part of it's not new. What is new is that AI doesn't simply show a list of pages that includes this false information and lets you sift through what's fact and fiction. Instead, it reads all of these different signals across the web and turns all of that into one answer. So the risk isn't that one fake blog post will fool ChatGPT. That's not the point. The risk is that collectively it fools AI using what has come to be known as pattern pollution.
Yeah, so if enough fake reviews, spam area guides, copied developer lists exist online, they tend to muddy the picture for AI. And in real estate, that matters because buyers are asking questions like, who should I trust? Which areas are safest, and where is the strongest yield? The defense is not to play black hat games. The defense is to make real signals stronger. Credible media coverage, verified data, clean listings with accurate information, real expert commentary, and active reputation monitoring. And we're going to get to this later, but there are tools that you can use to proactively have a radar over how your brand appears and in what context online. Good PR is not just visibility anymore, it's reputation infrastructure.
Right. And so talking about these tools, the first step in the process of adding an AI layer to your marketing programs is the brand discoverability audit. Brands need to treat AI visibility like a new layer of search, not a side channel of some sort. An effective AI brand discoverability audit will map where your brand shows up across AI-driven interfaces like ChatGPT, Google AI, Overviews, Perplexity, Samsung's favorite Claude, etc., and why. So you need a brand discoverability audit to understand where your brand is cited and in what context, gain insights on questions customers may ask, track citations, benchmark competitors, reverse engineer sources, and audit your own content. Remember that the goal here is to become the answer.
Absolutely. So, in essence, what we're trying to do here is for you to step into the shoes of the customer and walk through the journey. So you can do this by first querying your core commercial and informational keywords as natural language questions. You can manually type into ChatGPT, another AI interface, the kind of questions investors or property buyers might ask, and see who shows up and how. There are better ways to do it. There are tools like Ahref and Profound, which are analytics tools that can actually help you check for context, run millions of queries, and show you how you show up against competition and in what context. It helps you track where your brand is cited, how frequently, and in what context. Are you recommended? Are you compared? Or are you completely ignored? Secondly, you can analyze positioning. Are you the primary recommendation, one of several options, or are you completely absent amongst your peers for the same queries? Now you can benchmark this against competitors to understand share of voice within AI responses, not just traditional search engines. The tools I talked about would actually do the complete analysis for you, show you the top ranking positions, cited positions, what queries you're showing for against your competition, and also the areas or gaps where you can improve. And that's where the reverse engineering comes, because you can look at what websites, PR mentions, directories, and structured content are being referenced or linked. And that gives you a basis to understand your weaknesses and how you can plug the gap. So from this, it reveals the authority signals feeding AI models. You can, based on this, audit your own assets, evaluate where your content is structured, entity rich, and aligned to high intent queries, and identify gaps where you lack coverage, authority, and credibility. The output gives you a roadmap of what type of content to create, what authority to build, and what signals to strengthen. So your brand becomes the default answer, not just an afterthought.
Right. And building upon that, we create an AI visibility toolkit because just like humans visit websites, loads of AI bots visit your website as well. If they don't understand your content, they can't cite it. And why is this important? Because more and more customers' discovery starts on AI tools today. We use crawl directives and structured data to make content easy for AI systems to discover, interpret, and cite content. turning your website into a reliable source, not just a page index.
Absolutely. And just to re-emphasize the point John just made now, today, more AI bots visit websites than human. So essentially, you have to optimize your website to be understood by these AI tools. One of the first optimization option is what we call the robots.txt file. Don't pay attention to the script on the screen. This is just to show you context. This file format controls how crawlers access the site, prioritizing high-value pages and eliminating noise. So AI systems focus on the content that actually drives visibility and conversion. So it's almost like a navigation map to guide crawl bots on what to prioritize or cite from your website. Second is the schema markup. So think of schema. There are different types of schemas to start with. There's like service schemas, which can highlight the services you offer. There are FAQ schemas that highlight the common questions customers ask and the responses. And then you have the local business schema, which is particularly important for real estate businesses. So if you're, for example, a specialist in Palm Jumeirah properties, you want to be sure that your website has local schema for Palm Jumeirah, because that would increase your chances of being cited when people ask AI tools about property on Palm Jumeirah. There are schemas for reviews as well, which is very important. You want to build that trust by showing that, yes, there are customers that have written good reviews about your brand. And if AI cannot reference those reviews, it doesn't add to that trust layer for your brand. Thirdly, there's the llms.txt file format. This provides explicit guidance to AI tools on which content can be used, summarized, or cited, ensuring accurate representation and improving inclusion in AI-generated answers.
Thanks everyone for sticking with us this long. We're about to enter the home stretch. I know that it's been a lot of information thrown at you in a very short period of time, but we're about to wrap up. But let's first look at what you can actually do next if you took all of this information and put it together. Start with the question buyers are already asking AI. Should I buy now or wait? Which developers are reliable? Which is rental yield is the strongest? Which communities are the safest? Who should I trust? Then connect all those channels around those questions. For PR, create one clear market point of view, not another project announcement. Create credible answers to a multitude of buyer questions. For example, which communities are still attracting serious demand in Dubai? For SEO, you need to build around decision questions, not just keywords. A page called Should you buy Dubai property now or wait is much more useful to AI and to buyers for that matter, than another generic Dubai luxury apartments page.
For paid ads, use campaigns as a research tool. Look at which questions people actually click on and convert from. If you install the right conversion tags on your website, it can track and attribute the conversions to the source of the query. If, for example, best developers in Dubai or Dubai Marina rental yield is getting traction, that should feed into PR, content, and broker talking points. And that goes back to the point we made earlier about aligning these three pillars: PR, SEO, and paid ads. For listings, clean the facts. Make sure developer name, community name, price, availability, handover status, and broker information are consistent across all of your digital footprint, from your website to portal listings to social handles and sales material. For brands, make sure every channel is telling the same story consistently across. So the point is not that you need to stop what you're already doing, but in the AI search environment, those things cannot operate as separate pieces. They need to create one connected, credible signal that AI can understand, trust, and recommend. So we've covered a lot of ground today. The practical next step would be to take an action, which is to start with an audit. We're offering a free audit. We can help you conduct an audit to show you where the gaps are and show you how PR, SEO, and paid are interpreting your brand. And more importantly, how AI is likely interpreting your brand before buyers ever reach you.
Right. So please email us. We're here to help. with your free brand discoverability audit, we can help you look at where you show up now in AI searches and where you don't show up, and what sources are shaping the answers and what signals need to be strengthened.
Yeah. So as a wrap up, we actually have a couple of questions that have come through. So let's I don't know how much time we have, but let's quickly run through a few of them. One says here, how long does it typically take to improve AI visibility? Maybe I'll take that, John.
That sounds like a you question.
Indeed. So, obviously, we've talked about an audit here. Before we talk about how long it takes, we need to understand where you're showing up or not. So, the audit helps us to understand in what context you're getting cited or not, and more importantly, who is getting cited and in what context. When we analyze the competition getting cited, the type of media exposure they have, the backlinks they are getting, the third-party sources signaling and referencing their content, then it gives us a lens to create a plan to improve your visibility. Obviously, any change you make will have to be indexed, and slowly the authority signals start building up. So in terms of how long, the right answer is we need to audit and understand where the brand starts today and what the competition is doing. And based on that, we can give a realistic time frame and start building. But what is more important is that whatever strategy you implement, you need to be able to stay in the lane and keep building. The more you build those authority signals, the better the chances that you not only get cited, but you get cited consistently and in the right context.
Right. I see the next question is, what types of media coverage are most valuable for AI visibility? Well, that changes. I mean, you saw that in the slide that we showed about how AI ranks different types of information. It certainly ranks AI, certainly ranks PR and top tier PR the highest. But how it ranks those tiers may vary based on your geography. It could vary based on the relevance to the information that it's looking for, related to the searches that people are plugging in. There may be some language issues depending on who's asking. I think most importantly, all of your publicity has to be somewhat consistent because AI hates contradiction. So it's about creating opportunities to place media over a period of time that remains very, very consistent. Look at the word choices. Try to repeat those word choices so that AI can determine what is consistency in your messaging, and just try to think in terms of what people are searching for versus what you're trying to promote.
Yeah. There's another one here that says, what kind of stories are most likely to improve our authority in AI search? So it's kind of related to your response, John. Now, before thinking about what kind of stories, let's go back to the premise. What's the reason for a story in the first place? And that's where, if you put yourself in the lens of the customer, then you're better able to tell a compelling story. We have to address the questions and queries customers ask and try to build trust. So rather than try to sell a property or the benefits, let's understand and add context around the concerns of the customer. We gave a few examples here of the type of questions customer might ask. So questions around return on investment, questions around off-plan versus buying secondary market. So write compelling stories around those based on fact. Add proof points, reviews, trust signals, third party or expert commentary. If the credentials of someone advising on ROI doesn't match the reality, then chances are, as a consumer, I wouldn't believe that. And the same goes with AI. If you have an author to a piece of article who is a finance expert, chances are his credentials might contribute to ranking for that piece of content. So I would always defer to addressing the customer's pain point and then earning media from that. So when you write that good piece of content through PR, you can earn placement in top tier media, and that can help drive your ranking and citations in AI tools.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that pretty much wraps us up here. You want to finish off here, Samson? Say some last
Yeah,
words?
it's been a good one. Thank you, everyone. Stayed with us to the end. The takeaway is simple. If you forget every other thing, just remember this: AI visibility is not a future issue. It's here and now. It's already changing how buyers search, compare, and choose.
Right. So remember that the brands that win won't be the ones shouting the loudest. It'll be the ones that AI can understand, trust, and recommend the easiest. Thank you all for joining us. Bye bye.